So it's me again. I'm back doing another video a long time later. I felt it was time. I've since moved from where I was, a small town, in California, to the big city of San Francisco, and have gotten in many ways a new lease on life. It's just my story, I guess, the process that I had coming out of this cult, the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses. But today what I'm here to talk about is very, very personal, and it is talking about how a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses have a lot of suicidal thoughts, especially when they know that they have to leave. So you already know that you're going to be shunned, you know what to expect, you know that more than likely your family's probably not going to talk to you. Your friends are not going to talk to me, or talk to you, I should say. For the most part, with me, it was a mixed bag. With me, I have family members that are Jehovah's Witnesses that do talk to me, and family members that don't. And then I have those that limit their associations with me to only the most vital of exchanges, because they're just brainwashed by the cult, telling them that it's evil or wrong to be around me because I'm an apostate. I'm an apostate because I tell the truth about what I went through growing up as a Jehovah's Witness. And so I guess I should start kind of from the beginning of why I started to get suicidal thoughts, because I had doubts. That's how it really all started. And actually leaving and saying I'm not a Jehovah's Witness anymore, that was a very gradual thing. But having doubts was a very shocking thing. It just kind of hit me all of a sudden, the immensity of what I was doing with my life, what I was basing my entire life on. When you're a Jehovah's Witness, and I think that's what it's important for people to know, you really believe, you know, in everything you're being taught. You believe that Armageddon's going to come if you are not doing everything that the Jehovah's Witness organization tells you to do, that they tell you that's what God tells you to do, that's what Jehovah tells you to do, as they call God Jehovah. And if you're not doing all that, you really do believe that you are going to be destroyed at Armageddon, which is their version of the end of the world as we know it, an apocalyptic vision of, you know, a time when everyone who's not a Jehovah's Witness dies, basically, or is destroyed by Jehovah. And so it can be a very fear-inducing concept. And I'm speaking from personal experience. It can be extremely scary. So for me, it was gradual to actually break away completely from Jehovah's Witnesses. But my doubts, that started all at once, and it really preceded a very dark period in my life. After I started having the doubts, a dark period of my life for many years followed after that. Deep, terrible depression that I fell in. So I'm going to kind of start at the beginning, or sort of at the beginning. I was about 18, and I had just gone through, I was just about to turn 18, basically. It was a couple months from 18, maybe like 2 months from it. I was trying to graduate from a pilot program called Venture, the one that I explained earlier that my mom had put me in because my mom and dad basically, but my mom was really crazy about the idea. She didn't want me associating with any kids that were quote unquote worldly, not Jehovah's Witnesses. So she put me in this school, and I just was getting ready to graduate from there. I was struggling to graduate from there because she wouldn't let me join any after-school programs or any tutorial programs that where I had to be tutored. So to this day, I have problems with math and things like that I'm trying to work through and get over and take classes for. But she wouldn't let me join any of those programs to help me because worldly people were running those programs, and there might be a chance I might come in contact with worldly kids or kids that weren't Jehovah's Witnesses. So during this time, I got really ill. I developed chronic fatigue syndrome, and I mean, I couldn't get up. I couldn't get out of bed, barely. I could barely make it. I had to have my brothers carry me to the bathroom to take baths or to even just go to the bathroom. I was so sick. And during that time, the time that I was convalescing, it gave me a time when I wasn't constantly going to meetings 3 times a week, constantly studying, because I just didn't have the energy for it. It allowed my mind to really ponder things, really start to wonder. I started to really deeply reflect on where I was going in my life. I was going to be 18, what it meant to be a Jehovah's Witness, and all of their policies and doctrines. And I still wasn't aware on any level that I was being deeply, and I mean deeply, mind-fucked by these cult beliefs. But my doubts, they didn't come gently at all. They came crashing down on me to the point of where I was literally hit by them. Like literally just bombarded by them. And I started to question everything because I was at the age of, finally, it was almost like someone took a curtain and pulled it back, and I could suddenly see cracks in the veneer, or like when you see a painting from far away and it looks perfect, and then you go up to it and you start to see all these cracks and all of these weaknesses. And that's what I was starting to see in all of these things that Jehovah's Witnesses were telling me. It was like I said, I was totally slammed, and my adult mind was trying to piece together all these missing pieces of the puzzle that didn't fit. That somehow when I was a kid, I didn't question too closely, because I was a kid and I was being spoon-fed all of this. But as an adult, your mind starts to work and reason, and none of the puzzles that I was putting together about the belief systems they were telling me quite fit. And so I was like, okay, there's something wrong here. And I've always had a really analytical mind, even when I was so deluged by the cult. I wanted to make sense of things. And I just started asking all these questions, like, who really are the Watchtower Society? I mean, to myself, I started questioning these things. Who really were, the governing body? What were they? Who are these people that write the Watchtower? Why are there no bylines in the Watchtower, no names, no authors? Who are these people? And I never really had questioned it in that way before. I wondered why women couldn't do the same things that men could do. I've always been a really strong woman, or even a girl, even when I was a little girl. And I would always sit there on the platform, and I just remember, sit there looking at the platform from my seat, and I remember being so perplexed, and that perplexed mindset turned to anger and frustration of why I couldn't, take the microphones up when people were answering questions at these congregation meetings, why I couldn't as I got older, stand up on the platform, why I had to sit in a chair facing another woman and never be able to address the congregation as a whole. You know, because I really was believing in all this stuff, and I was like, wow, I want to like preach to people, but I was told, because you're a woman, you can't preach to people that way. You have to preach to people in the secondary place to a man. And that was something that I couldn't wrap my mind around. I couldn't accept it. And you know, it was just, you know, headship, submission, all those things I couldn't wrap my mind around. And so many of the things, like why we really couldn't celebrate birthdays, you know, why we couldn't celebrate New Year's Day and holidays that had nothing to do, Mother's Day, Father's Day, nothing to do with any particular religious belief. You know, why couldn't we celebrate those even if we couldn't celebrate Christmas or Thanksgiving? And I never understood Thanksgiving because I was always like, it's a holiday about being thankful. What's wrong with celebrating that? What's wrong with being thankful that your family and friends are gathered once a year? And then I started to realize in my mind, maybe this is just something that they use to keep you, you know, feeling different or special and feeling other than everybody else. I wonder, why couldn't you make friends with people that were not Jehovah's Witnesses, close friends? And I came across some really nice people in my life. And I was told it's not good enough that these people are nice and sweet, because these people don't follow the same laws as Jehovah's Witnesses. They're not good enough for your association. You know, also I was told that during Armageddon, when supposedly all these world governments are going to descend and start to destroy religion as a whole and start to attack Jehovah's Witnesses, that these possibly quote-unquote well-meaning nice people that are quote-unquote worldly